Okay, 10 o'clock. Welcome to the BOCC meeting for September 18th or 16th. Rise with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for all. Okay, welcome. The agenda approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
First and second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Clute,
Yes,
motion passes.
the consent agenda.
On today's agenda, I have the September 9th meeting minutes. I have a sick leave donation from Rhonda Kelly to Deborah Bernal. I have a pay increase for Bruce Quintana, Huerfano County Assessor's Office. Another pay increase for Sarah Pino. And lastly, for Anthony Tomlinson, who completed his probationary period, all Huerfano County Assessor's Office.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Brooke,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, no appointments, permits, licenses, and public hearings.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Jerry.
Okay, first item I have on the agenda today, for Vice Chamberlain from the County Manager's Office. Is land use application 25-027, CUP for Black Hills Energy. So with this application, Black Hills Energy is wanting a conditional use permit to have a site to warehouse components and materials to fix windmill towers located on Bush Ranch. The site is addressed at 12129 and 12129B, Highway 10, parcel number 274601. This is located at mile marker 12 on Highway 10. The subject property is on agricultural. Zoning standards for this district are set forth in land use regulations section 1.03. On August 8th, the application applied for a conditional use permit along with application fees. They were received by the county. The application was determined to be complete on August 8th. The property is currently being used as a hunting retreat. The current owner can no longer use this property as it was intended and wishes to sell it. There is one living resident on the property that received their certificate of occupancy on July 9th of 2024. There is an open, inactive, and incomplete building permit for what was supposed to be the property caretaker home, which is just a shell of a barnuminium on concrete foundation. Also, there's a conditional use permit for the helicopter pad that can be used in the event of an emergency for Huerfano County. During the referral agency review period, the property was sold to Richardson Farms Outfitters Incorporated, who in turn intends to sell the property to Black Hills Energy. The new potential owners wish to use their property to house materials to fix windmill towers located at Bush Ranch. There will be no more than 8 employees from 2 separate contractors during normal business hours, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We sent out referral agency comment letters. We received agency comments from the Colorado Division of Water Resources, the Los Alamos Huerfano County's Health Department, and the Huerfano County Building Inspector. No comments of disapproval from any of those agencies. The Huerfano County Building Inspector requests change of occupancy will need to take place from residential to commercial if this is approved. So on September 11th, 2025, the Huerfano County Planning Commission recommended approval application of land use 25-027 CUP with the following conditions. 1, that once Black Hills Energy acquires the property, request an inspection of the buildings be done and change of occupancy be done prior to any business or storage of any kind starting in the facility. And 2, that Black Hills Energy provides proof of where they are purchasing their water from to fill their cisterns. And the applicant is present and can answer any questions of the commission if so desired.
Okay, what kind of supplies and stuff will be there at the property?
And then she's.
Good morning, Commissioners. John V. Hill, Black Hills Energy. Thank you for hearing our application today. All of the materials that we're using are just going to be parts and things for the windmills themselves, the wind turbines themselves, but nothing will be outside. It'll all be inside, all stored inside the interior
okay.
of the building.
So not like extra blades.
Correct. No big blades, nothing outside.
And the water,
Yeah, so the water we're going to continue to use Ojo Drilling Water Delivery here in Walsenburg. That's who has provided the water in the past. That's where we continue to receive water.
And did you get a receipt from that or?
We have not yet received a receipt, but we know that's a condition of the permit.
Okay, you can also get a letter and have them send you a letter if you like.
Okay, thank you.
okay. So you don't have a problem with any of the restrictions?
No.
And there are two 30,000-gallon cisterns on there. And the original homeowner's intent was to use that water for a period of 2 years at a time.
Yeah, plans to finish out that pad with a barn dominium or whatever it was gonna be.
That will continue to be used as storage as well. I don't know, is there anything else there? Yeah, it's just going to be additional storage.
Sounds good. Yeah, questions? Okay. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to accept CUP 25-027 Black Hills Energy.
Second motion.
First,
With the conditions.
yeah.
With the conditions,
I was gonna add that. First and second, and add the conditions on there, make sure they are taken care of. Agreeable. First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Chen,
Yes.
Chairman Brown,
Yes,
motion passes.
okay, thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is supposed to be a public hearing.
Okay, is that I designate you to?
Yes.
Be that
Be that person.
person, yes.
Public hearing officer. Yeah.
I'll be that
Yeah.
person. Okay, commissioners, I'm going to go ahead and read the public hearing procedures before I begin. The hearing officer presents the staff report. Then we'll have questions from the Board of County Commissioners. Then the applicant can present additional information, answer questions. I saw Jamie was on there. Is Jess on there as well? Okay, I'm also here. Okay, yes, thank you. All righty. Then we'll have a public comment period where it's going to be 3 minutes per speaker. We will have timing on that.
Yes.
Applicant opportunity to respond to comments or answer additional questions. And then we'll close the public hearing and then the Board of County Commissioners can discuss their case. Okay. Any questions? And then open the public hearing at 10:10 a.m. So I'd like to begin by saying that there's a change to the application. Just for the record, this is from Jessica herself. For the record, He is not the applicant. He is the attorney hired by the applicant to assist them with their application. And Hummingbird Ranch is the landowner and not Jamie Janover in his personal capacity. So with this application, the applicant Josh Beaver requests the following: a temporary assembly permit, land use regulation 1.13 for gathering of 2,000 people to host a gathering for camper non enthusiasts. The site is addressed at 732 County Road 653, the applicant and the landowner, Hummingbird Ranch, have held several events at this property. Well, just of various sizes. The nature of this assembly is a 3-day camper event gathering. There will be food trucks, entertainment, and vendors. The purpose of this gathering is to provide space for the van life community to gather, share information, and enjoy being a part of the community, as well as to make beneficial use of the land. The maximum number of persons for this event is 2,000 patrons and approximately 250 staff. Only the stages that are permanently located on the property will be used. The applicant has stated they will commence noise a half an hour earlier than the temporary assembly permit regulations permit. The applicant also stated they will follow all fire restrictions that are in place at the time. They would also like to do a communal fire pit. All information can be found in the attachable application. Okay, the application was deemed complete on July 22nd. Notices were sent out to referral agencies on July 22nd. Responses were to be returned back to Huerfano County Land Use Office by August 25th. Public hearing notices were posted to the Huerfano County website on September 2nd. Certified letters were mailed to the adjacent property owners on September 4th, and a public hearing sign was placed at the property on September 9th. Comments from the referral agencies, we only got 2 back, and that was the Division of Water Resources said they did not have applicable comments to provide to the county regarding the proposed action at this time, but the premise that there will not be expanded or changed use of ground or surface water. Los Alamos, Huerfano County Health Department have them fill out as much information on the event coordinator planning form as much as they could until closer to the event. Staff recommends approval with conditions listed in any other conditions imposed by the Board of County Commissioners. The conditions imposed.
Commission's recommended.
Okay. Conditions recommended are communal fire pit dependent upon written mutual approval between the county and fire protection district, unless waived by the fire protection district. Applicant will have to have a fire truck and crew during the activity unless fire protection district approves an alternative plan. 2, designated smoking areas shall be roped off and must include a fire extinguisher. These areas must be completely clear of any vegetation. Fully enclosed cigarette containers shall also be in each designated area. 3, follow state and local regulations that apply to noise. 4, applicants shall provide directional signage for the event. Signs shall be posted at the intersection of County Road 650 and 652 to discourage any festival patrons from traveling on County Road 650 any further west than County Road 652. Signs may be something in the effect of no event outside traffic beyond this point. 5, outside performance specific light effects, all lighting should be shielded, aimed downwards, and otherwise comply with the county dark sky regulations. 6, per CRS 3926-103 of the Sales Tax Act, Peace Level Bounds will obtain special sales event license and meet with each vendor at the close of the weekend to obtain a report of gross sales and collect the applicable sales tax. Applicant will provide documentation that this has been done and also provide Huerfano County with a list of every vendor and their sales tax number. If a vendor doesn't have a sales tax number, that will be indicated on the list. Any vendor who doesn't cooperate with Peace Loving Bounds regarding sales tax will be ineligible to attend the event in the following years. Peace Loving Bounds may provide any alternative plan for sales tax collection to the land use department. Applicant shall comply with all public health orders. 8, the applicant shall develop and submit to the land use department a plan to ensure the security of the perimeter of the festival area and prevent trespassing on neighboring properties with a special focus on previously identified problem areas around Ash Creek. 9, the applicant will provide Huerfano County Land Use Department with passes for use by commissioners or county staff enforcing these conditions. 10, a site visit by county staff and any other agencies at least 1 week prior to the event. 11, applicant will hire someone to wet county roads would be the morning prior to cars entering on the day of the event, and again prior to cars hitting at the close of the event. And that is all I have. Questions from the BOC for the applicant?
My name is Bernie Christian. I'm the operations coordinator for Peace Love Events. Our attorney, Jess Grease, is online, and our co-founder, Zach, is also online as well to take questions.
Did you say Zach?
Yes, they both have their hands raised.
Are you in agreement with the conditions
Yes, sir.
with those? On the water, we're talking to our road and bridge and find out about the amount of water would probably be taken or needed to be able to wet down that road. Are you familiar with the amount that would be?
No, but I
required?
know our attorney, Jess, has some experience with that, and he can probably speak to that, and he's helping us source some of those vendors and have a plan for that. We also have a plan to haul water, pending a local vendor. So any help sourcing that would be.
Okay. Because one of the numbers, some of the numbers that we had found out, it'd take probably 10 to 20,000 gallons of water for a couple of miles to be able to wet that down properly.
Okay.
So that's quite a large
Can
amount.
we bring Jess in to maybe help speak to some of the?
Sure.
I know he's had some experience with that.
Jess?
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning to staff that I haven't seen in a while. And met most of you, but look forward to meeting everybody else. The staff report didn't have any specifics as far as water goes. It just said it would be wet. So I didn't know that road and bridge would be involved. We were looking for a local vendor. We don't have any metrics on, the flow rate or any of that kind of stuff. So one thing I would share is I'd, encourage you to look at, the pictures that are in the application and stuff, and just understand the scope of this event is much smaller than Sonic Bloom. It's a very different event than that. And I know we're not asking to go as far as mag chloride, that big expense, but my point is it doesn't have the kind of budget that a larger event has. So I don't know what the water cost would be. We were looking at, we're costing out from private folks, but if any of these conditions carry with them huge costs, that would threaten the viability of the event, because it's just not it's not a super expensive event to attend, and there's not a lot of it's much smaller than what a Sonic Bloom is. So it's just a very different beast. So I don't know what can staff provide some insight into what the cost would be?
So, I'm actually not going to recommend that you set a volume amount. We're looking for a result, not a amount of water applied. And the water bridge might have their rules of thumb. So I don't have a good cost for you. I will say that if we're concerned about the cost, then we can ask for or allow an alternative plan to be submitted.
Okay.
I think the important part is that from where the county ends our mag chloride, that the road is treated so we don't have excess unnecessary dust from the event, which I think your attendees will also appreciate.
Yes, and that's something that, for their experience as well, we want to have cut the dust, and for the neighbors, and we understand that. We'd also, with this condition, would be looking for something along the lines of if it's raining, the treatment doesn't need to occur in the rain, things like that. But
Yeah, of course.
Zach, did you have anything to add? I think I cut you off there. So.
Good morning, commissioners. Thanks for attending to this issue. I don't really have anything to add on the water. I think Jess is the most familiar, but I appreciate the flexibility on, trying to make it practical for us. I will reiterate what Jess said, which is that our event is more of a rally or a community gathering than a festival, right? We call it a festival because we do have some elements like some live music and so on. But it's really a community gathering.
Can you describe for me, the security of the event? I think some of the concerns some of the neighbors may have is, attendees wandering off onto other private property.
Understood. I believe Zach and Jess can also speak to that. I believe some of it did involve security patrols around the premises. Jess or Zach, can you help answer that?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in and Jess can fill in any gaps, but we will have, so in our staffing plan, we will have folks who are dedicated to security. And they will have something like a golf cart that they will be able to use to navigate around. And then everybody on the team will have a radio, like a walkie-talkie style radio, so that they can reach those individuals. And so the area of concern that was noted is a place where we can have some particular attention, like we can patrol that area along the creek that has been apparently an issue in the past. But I think also our event, the nature of our event is very different in terms of the population, I think, that's going to attend. The favorite activity of these folks is to be in their camper van next to their neighbors, like hanging out, having a potluck, and meeting each other. And so I think they're much less likely to roam. If you take a look at the map that we're proposing for the site, we're using just a very small portion because we just don't, part of that is we don't think our audience, our attendees, are going to want to move around a lot. It's a 350-acre property, but we're just using a teeny tiny piece of that. So we don't think it's going to be much of an issue, but we will have folks patrolling it and we'll have the attention of everybody on the team and an awareness of that potential issue.
Yeah, I would just echo that, at an event like, again, it's different. At Sonic Bloom, it was younger people hanging out by Apache Creek during the day. It was a social activity. That's where a lot of people like to be, and they would see the fence that separated Hummingbird Ranch from the Cedillo property and go, oh, boy, there's nobody up there. And they would leak up there. Eventually that led to us having dedicated security up there. Certainly for an event like that makes a lot of sense. We're still going to patrol it. We'll still have resources available to station there if need be, but hanging out by the creek is just not going to be it's a very different demographic. And as Zach explained, we'll still pay attention to it and pay attention to all the workers. We'll do patrols around the property just to make sure that, there isn't anything that unexpected happening, but this really isn't, we don't expect folks to be leaving the campground or the immediate environs of the gathering. So.
The other concern is fire danger. I was looking over your fire pit plan, and it all kind of depends on the conditions at the time. If you could just describe for the public what your plan is to mitigate the risk of fire.
Absolutely understood.
Yeah.
I'm from New Mexico, so I'm aware of wildfire risk and concern. And so this communal fire pit's really just a place for people to come make s'mores. Really, it's kind of all we're looking for there.
Okay.
We understand that conditions recommended.
So this is, if I can jump in too, this is something that's kind of, we're going into our 4th year of this event in Florida. And our 1st year, obviously, in Colorado. So on the Friday night of the weekend, we do s'mores, so free s'mores for everyone. And that's the only time there's a communal fire. And the way that we've handled it in Florida is the people who are staffing that activity have access to fire extinguishers and water hoses and fire blankets. We've never had an issue because, again, it's a very mild crowd, I would say. It's also a very respectful crowd. These are folks who travel the country in their camper vans, and they're used to being in the wilderness. They're used to preserving nature, and they're used to things like leave no trace, fire safety, and so on. But for that period of time, which is probably a few hours on Friday night, we were considering having basically the same approach, where the people staffing that activity would have fire extinguishers, hopefully some kind of a water, and definitely some blankets to cover the fires. But these aren't bonfires. These are small fires that you would use like at a campsite for making s'mores.
And I guess I'd also echo too, there's, you know, common sense involved with things. If it's scheduled for Friday night and we've got, you know, wind or something that would make having an open flame inappropriate, then it wouldn't happen. So there's obviously beyond even county conditions, there's things that, you know, event organizers have liabilities. They're gonna, you know, they're incentivized to do things the right way as well.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the staff will be the ones maintaining and operating the fire, not the attendees?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, to elaborate a little bit more, we're not looking to allow any just kind of road campfires anywhere else. If anyone does have a little, you know, if they have a propane thing with an on-off switch for ambient light or something like that, that would be allowed. Gas grills would be allowed, but charcoal grills would not. So really controlling any of those kind of ignition sources, and anywhere where we're going to have a wood fire or something like that is going to be staffed, monitored, equipment there, you know, done in a very safe way.
Jess, can you characterize for me the size of this fire? Like the physical dimensions?
As Zach stated, it's got to be, you know, it can't be big and roaring because we're looking to roast marshmallows over it. So something that is small enough to be able to approach with a standard size marshmallow roasting stick, and so I mean, I maybe 3 by 3 or something like around that size.
A
ring.
The follow-up question. Yep, at that size, is a propane option? Is propane an option?
It could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
The quality of the roasted marshmallows would suffer, but yes, propane would be an option. You could warm them. So I don't know how everybody does. I like golden brown over some coals, you know, but yes, propane would be. So.
Yeah, if the conditions merited it, perhaps propane would be better.
Yeah, certainly if there's a fire ban, then this, you know, we comply with that regardless. So yeah, you know, certainly conditions are up. This is in early June. It should be, you know, I know we never know, but this is a little bit better window than later in the summer. So
Yeah, be prepared for all eventualities.
yes.
Very good. Okay.
Okay, and the questions that I have, or statements really, the applicant has stated they will commence noise a half hour earlier than the permit regulations permit. The town of Salida just went through something like this and went to the Colorado Supreme Court because they were writing permits that allowed their vendors to have noise louder than the, this is not that. The state decibel limit is what, 55 decibels.
Yes.
And
And
this
I
permit
just,
in no way gives you the right to do it even before the permit break lets you.
Correct. I am familiar with that ruling, very recent ruling. And no, that wouldn't, what we're asking for would be within the scope of that ruling. We're still would be maintaining decibel limits. The nice thing about having such a large property is there's a big buffer before we get to neighboring property lines. Plus, this is doesn't have the kind of sound systems or anything like that create problems. And I would correct one thing. I don't think we're asking to commence sound at like super early in the morning or anything like that. I think this probably I think maybe it's just a typo and it should say cease sound. Again, this isn't a big music festival. We're saying we're ending the stages, giving ourselves a nice buffer between when the scheduled end of the show is and when those normal curfews kick in. So, on a Friday and Saturday night, if the curfew's midnight, we're finishing up at 11:30 type of deal. So we're
so it should under the event say that they will cease noise a half hour earlier than the regulations.
correct. Yes, and again that Salida case was for a bar that had an outdoor patio that was downtown right on the river that was having shows at night that would have sound that would carry to the, it was downtown. So sound did carry and was louder than the 55 decibels. That was definitely in a, by Salida standards, an urban setting compared to this setting where this is being held kind of in a wooded area of a 350 acre parcel. So it's much easier to stay within those bounds.
Okay. And then in number 6 on the conditions, about 3/4 of the way through, and I caught it earlier, any vendor who doesn't cooperate with Sonic Bloom regarding sales tax, should that read peace, love, and bands?
It's a typo, sorry.
Okay.
Both of the Sonic blooms that are on there are. I didn't catch it, I'm sorry.
All right. No.
Yeah, that's something we have worked through earlier just to make sure that the sales tax revenue is being properly captured. I think we're at Peace Love Bands. It's going to be a lot more local vendors for the most part, especially when it comes to food and things like that. With a smaller crowd, it'll be easier to meet that demand with the folks that are available from Colorado. So they may already have their sales tax license. I guess that would be one point of clarification. What had been done previously is, okay, you could opt in and remit your sales tax to the event, and then that would be remitted to the state under the event sales tax, special event sales tax license. Or you could still do your own, if you're a Colorado vendor that's routinely doing sales tax for state and Huerfano County, say it's a food truck from Huerfano County, we would let them do that normally we would let them still do that as part of just their normal doing business. The way this condition is written, I think it's requiring us to even have a local food vendor remit through us, which is fine. It's just something we needed to be upfront with them about, that they know that going in, so that they know when they're going to need to pay it. So. And I guess while we're talking about sales tax, I would also, one thing doesn't come up in the application, but these are folks that are probably going to spend a good deal of time in Spanish-speaking country once they travel here for the event. We expect them to be camping elsewhere, before and after. So I think you're going to see a nice, for a smaller event like this, a nice economic impact.
Is there gonna be a liquor vendor there?
There will be a small, I don't know what exactly the dimensions are, what we characterize small, but it is not something that is fenced in, where the whole venue area is fenced in. There's more of a beer garden that's near where the stage is. I think it's called the Leafy Lounge. Is that what the name's Zach? And that will have a special event liquor permit pending the county's approval.
So all questions I have.
Yes, well. Good. Jim, anything else?
Yeah, I think, and I'm sure because there's a lot of the neighbors here, than in past years with the Sonic Bloom Festival out there. There's been a lot of, well, I can say reservations about having another event there, I am sure. And, you know, just maybe try to explain how this is different from that. And I know haven't looked at it because, you know, I couldn't catch it before, but look up to see what the events in Florida were like. But, you know, there's kind of been a bad taste left in everybody's mouth because of the Sonic Bloom Festival and a drug fest. But this doesn't sound like it's anything like that.
No, it's not. So our demographic in Florida is probably 45 and older. And it's a lot of retired folks who are traveling in their camper vans. It's pretty mellow. In Florida, most people are in bed by 10 p.m. So we have a very different demographic than the demographic associated with Sonic Bloom. We're primarily focused on van life like community and sharing information. So we'll have a lot of workshops going on during the day where people in the van life community can come together, share information on things like electrical systems, van builds. We have tours of vans that people can tour or show off their vans and their work, as well as contests for like the best van, best in show. And our live music is there in the afternoons and the evenings. As mentioned earlier, we just kind of stop everything 30 minutes prior to the sound or to the ordinance. And then we'll have a handful of vendors there. We're not a big expo. We're primarily, like I said, focused on the community aspect of the gathering. But we do like to have a little bit there. So anyone who's maybe looking for something for their van or outdoor gear, they can maybe find that there as well. Zach, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that's a great description. It's also vastly smaller. You know, so as Vernie mentioned, a lot of these folks are traveling as a couple or family. So it's quite diverse. And, you know, I guess compared to a music festival, people are not going to party as much as they are going to, it'd be more akin to like a classic car rally where people are getting together around a shared interest of vans. So they like, as Vernie mentioned, they like to see each other's vans. They like to meet each other, form caravans, you know, this kind of thing. So it's vastly smaller in population. It's a really different intent than a party. It's more of a gathering. And I can't imagine a completely different kind of drug situation with a music festival than what our event would be like.
Yeah, for anyone, I would encourage folks to look at the application and just, you know, kind of a picture says 1,000 words. Look at the photos that were included in the application. That'll give you a good feel for, you know, for what this event looks like and kind of what the vibe is.
Oh, for me.
So much. All right. Questions from the audience.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take comments from the public. As you come to the podium, please state your name and your address.
No address.
No address. Okay, just state your name, please. And you'll have 3 minutes.
I'll break the ice. I'm Don Lovering, local landowner, and I would dispute the claim that notices were sent to all adjacent landowners because the county road is the only thing that separates part of our property from Hummingbird Ranch. We did not receive any notice. We have in past years for other events, but I'm just, indicating for the record. I'm opposed to such a large gathering in a remote rural area that has a dead-end road that allows people in and out. Should there be a safety issue trying to evacuate that many people down a single lane road for 6 or more miles poses a big safety risk. You'll have already focused a good bit on fire risk. That is always the major worry that I have. We're not far from the spring fire. I understand their attempts to control people. I would assert there's no way you can control 2,000 people. Jess said, look at the application for an idea of what this is about. I did. I read the entire application. And it shows a group of 12 chairs around an open fire in front of a camper. Not one single communal fire, and I can't see 2,000 people roasting s'mores around a 3x3 wood fire. I don't doubt the intent. We all intend on something being safe, but I doubt that any group can control 2,000 outsiders who do not understand how fragile our ecosystem is and how combustible the vegetation is. The application also indicates the solid waste plan can handle 4 ounces of solid waste per person per day. I feel that's wholly inadequate. I understand some vans are going to have their own self-contained systems, but just thinking of public health issues, that's a worry. Trespass has always been an issue in previous events, not just on the Cedillo property, but on many other properties in the neighborhood. People come in, they say, oh, isn't it pretty up there? And off they go. That's a worry for me. Wear and tear on the road, so an issue. As you know, there's only the first 1.9 miles of Lascar that has magpie out. The rest of it is long gone. And this many vehicles coming and going, I think will degrade the road significantly. I understand. Thank you. Appreciate commissioners, y'all having us and hearing us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm being corrected that the open fire pit is a propane fire pit. It's open fire pit. What he said, I can't tell that from picture.
Well, I mean, it's.
Ryan,
There's a hose
Ryan,
next to it.
Ryan.
Side.
Ryan, I want to hear here.
Oh, sorry.
Monty Job, local landowner. I have 6 things I wanted to talk about. Fire danger. As stated in their fire protection plan, they will mow parking lots before the event to mitigate against vehicle ignition sources if conditions merit the same. This does not set any measurable level as to what the conditions are to mow, nor what they should be mowed to. A better requirement would be all parking surfaces would be mowed lower than 3 inches 4 days prior to the event. This provides clear guidelines to the event and the county to enforce. As the fire danger is not predictable this far out, and with the number of vehicles that will be driving and camping on grasslands, along with the generators and self-contained units with batteries, it would be wise to require at least a minimum 5-pound fire extinguisher on each unit. As they are required for any outside flames in indoor non-cooking in Florida, along with them being certified, this is not an extraordinary ask. As this is promoted to van lifers and perspectives, most are single or a couple. The majority of spots are for vehicles less than 24 foot. So it is not something that will predominantly be families. 2,000 attendees will be around 1,000 vehicles. This does not include staff, vendors, and day traders, traversing the narrow access road to their property. I am concerned about the state to 50 if I'm not incorrect on that one. Signage, I could not find any statements about what signage they would post. Previous events at Hummingbird have been severely lacking in signage posted. And when they do, it has been small size that they posted. Sign sizes, locations for both ingress and egress should be required along with times reflecting setup and tear down times. From the frequently asked questions, they state, extend your adventure. Book your stay at Hummingbird Ranch out in Hip Camp after the events. It's a perfect way to keep the good times rolling and hang out with all your new friends you made over the weekend. Hummingbird Ranch is not zoned a campground from what I can find, and clearly shows the event will go on longer than expected. It's not as much as what's in the application as what it's not, as the last item reveals. Sound control plan lists mostly rock, bluegrass, and Americana music. Yet 40% of their nightly music is EDM, electronic dance music, for their schedule. This really makes me wonder what else they're not telling the truth about in their application, the event, and the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Landowner. First of all, people over 45 can do drugs. In Aurora, Colorado, a spark from a propane tank burned 2 houses. My concern is even with a wood fire in a small pit, embers can travel over a mile, especially with the winds we have out there. I know in the paperwork that we read, it said, you know, be prepared for 40 or 50 mile an hour winds. The winds have turned over 18 wheelers on 25 just outside our property. The National Association of Fire Prevention says that grills should be at least 10 feet away from any combustible area or home. I'm not sure how they're gonna do that if people have their propane tanks out outside their unit. A lot of them have covers for shade. Anything like even the wood burning can cause embers. With the wind, the ember doesn't go out. It can travel a mile longer than that, which gets up to our property, which has lots of dry pine needles and whatnot. In the spring fire, you can go back and look at Kachara, the damage there. We were on pre-evacuation at Lascar Road on the Greenhorn. We have 2 canyons on our property. The canyons make it even worse with the embers getting in there to cause fires. If the reason we were fire, like it came from Kachara, and it was a fire started just from burning trash in the trash can, and the embers got away. Well, there's no way they could stop a fire on Greenhorn Mountain. There's too many canyons and whatnot to keep that from happening. Even a lithium battery that explodes on a plane could cause a fire, and there'll be lots of those. As far as the propane tanks, they said flipping it on and off. As many people that have been traveling back and forth in their vans and camping, how many are checking their propane tanks for leaks or other switches or whatnot, that hose comes off, you can't flip a switch, it explodes. So it's the fire danger that we're really concerned about. In 2018, the Camp Fire in California ignited homes that were several miles away, caused by the embers. Just billions of dollars of damage. I mean, 28 years ago, we bought that property because it was great. I understand that where it's going to be is zoned agricultural, not for parties or camping or whatnot. So we've not worried about that when we bought it. But with the continued activities, it seems to be a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andy Barros, and I'm here with my dad, Tom. We are, I don't consider ourselves special, but we border now the entire eastern side of Hummingbird Ranch because we've purchased more of the land out there. And I guess even though everyone else is affected by this as well, we are the most impacted by anything that goes on. And I guess we've gotten to the point in our lives where our main concern is the land and the safety, and just the road that you guys are going to need to come in and out on is our road. And so we move our cows and we take care of things and we do what we need to try and accommodate events. And I guess everybody else has brought up a bunch of different points, but our point is we want to be also good protected neighbors to our whole community. We're doing, but we also would like to be protected and supported too, just whatever that means. And we've been working with Sonic Bloom for years and years and years, and we've tried to be good, and some years we've been bad. But anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know that, I mean, we're here and we're gonna try and do what everybody decides is best for the situation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Dick Chenault. I'm a local landowner just east of where she lives. And my main concern is, and I understand it's not going to be as large as Sonic Bloom was, but the light and sound contamination from 3/4 mile away was significant. And we could hear it. I appreciate that this is a smaller organization. One of my questions for the promoters, will there be staging of admission vehicles down at 660 and 650 as before? Continue your comments. Continue. You go on. They'll answer after.
Yeah, just they'll answer after.
Anyway, I am opposed to it. We would like to be neighbors. I think there's plenty of other venues available for something of this organization. But in my rural neighborhood, as many of us live rural, we didn't move there to have thousands of people coming in to have events such as this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Anybody else from the audience? Anybody online?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Commissioners, my name is Ronald Cedillo. I represent the Cedillo family, who we are neighbors with Hummingbird. We share a bit over a mile of fence line with them. And our whole south fence line consists of the Apache Creek, except for about 1/10 of a mile, which enters into Hummingbird Ranch and then exits out again. In the past, at these events, the creek is advertised as a big bonus for people coming to the event. But the creek, it only occupies a very small portion of Hummingbird. I know that they've stated that this is not a draw for this type of event, but during the summer, on a hot summer's day, the creek is very attractive. It is well documented our problems with Hummingbird in that particular area, that fence line. You can look back at all the notes from all of the hearings in the past of the problems we've had with trespassing over that fence. We've had damage to that fence. In the first year, Jamie did give us some money to repair the fence. We did. I've reached out to him again. As a matter of fact, I ran into him just a few weeks ago on the road and asked him if he would be willing to repair the fence from the damage of the past years of sonic boom. He said he did not have the funds to do that. If for some reason you come up with the funds now, I just want to comment that it's a little late because we would have had to book the crew to come in and build that fence or repair that fence. It's too late to book it now before next summer. I'd have to do it the following year. But it remains a problem. We do have trespassing. We do find people on our property. They state that they could take golf carts down there. You cannot patrol the fence with a golf cart. There's no way. It's rugged territory. It's creek bottom. There is a small canyon down there. It's impossible. They need people on foot. And that only happened the first year and then never happened again. So like my neighbors, I share all their same concerns, fire being the main one, but I just wanted to focus on our main issue, and that is with trespassing and with that fear of fire danger. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else for the audience? Any public comment online? Okay, so there is no public comment online. Now I would like to ask the applicant to come back to the podium. And also online. And go ahead and answer the comments and questions.
I guess I can lead. I mean, I do, understand that, there's impact of any human activities. And I believe the applicant here has good plans to mitigate some of those risks. It's imperfect. I mean, not as far as their plans go, but even having residences up there, that increases some of the same risks that we're talking about. Some of these things exist year round, whether there's an event happening or not. And we believe that people should have an opportunity to gather and celebrate and have community. This is an appropriate place for it. It's it's good to be out in nature. I don't know that everything should be forced into auditoriums and developed spaces. So I mean, it's to answer the direct question, there is going to be no staging with a smaller event like this. There's no need to have a box office. That was down further on Lascar Road. That won't be there. I believe that our discussion, highlighted the fact that to the extent there was we share the fire concern. That's something that's, as you've seen with the plans, is going to be heavily regulated, heavily monitored. I don't think that it's a situation where there is where there's going to be 2,000 people trying to roast marshmallows at the same time. It's an activity that goes on Friday evening. Some people are going to come up and participate in that. Some people aren't going to be interested. People will take turns. There won't be 2,000 sticks over a fire that needs to be big enough to accommodate 2,000 people. We do have a secondary egress if we would need it. That also obviously runs out to Lascar Road. I don't know that I would characterize Lascar Road as, it's single lane each way, but certainly we can manage traffic in and out. We have mechanisms to hold traffic there if we need to get emergency vehicles in or anything like that. It's not that an evacuation would shut things down. Things, we have plans and things function. yeah, I guess I think a lot of it's already been, a lot of the applicants' plans have already, been included and discussed in the commissioner's questions. So I won't go back and repeat all of this, but those would be a couple of notes I have based on public comment. Thanks everybody for your comments. Zach, any other notes?
No, I mean, I definitely appreciate the comments and the concerns from the neighbors. I can say that, we're committed to being as good of a neighbor for that weekend as we possibly can. That's something that I guess is part of the ethos of the camper van community. We travel to different places on a regular basis, and we try to be good neighbors wherever we go. And so the fire concerns, we hear loud and clear. I think our community will respect the fence lines and will not be inclined to trespass. By and large, this is a very respectful group of people. But it is good to hear the concerns because we can take notes and focus on those concerns as we continue planning the event.
And I just wanted to address your concern with the golf cart. I think that was kind of a universal term for us. We've actually looked into ATVs out here due to the terrain. So just to clarify. That way we can have access areas.
Yeah. I think that area would be checked by somebody on foot in this circumstance. So there are golf carts, but it's, I guess, not meant to say that golf carts can go anywhere.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, the emergency egress, has it been maintained since Sonic Boom?
But it's a route that gets marked. It was mostly permanent improvements that were done to it. So I guess maybe Jamie's on. I don't know. As far as I don't know that it has been maintained because there hasn't been an event and so to maintain it for without a reason probably hasn't been done just because the costs associated with the last Sonic Bloom were insurmountable in the short term. So I don't know that any formal maintenance has been done on it since the last Sonic Bloom.
Can you go over the light plan?
It's not a, it's an emergency egress. It's not it's not a formal road.
It was pretty rough just for the emergency egress during Sonic Bloom, but it was just, we got to make sure that it's accessible to get out in case of an emergency.
Yes.
You asked about
Sorry,
the light
I thought he
plan?
was done.
It's okay.
Yes, can you go over the light plan?
Yes, I'd like to do that on this one as well, but a lot of it's going to be more ambient lighting and security lighting within like the perimeter of it, the area of the actual event, so that we can minimize any like trip and fall type situations. But it's not going to be blasting out. And in the areas closer to probably some of the neighboring, like where we have our campgrounds, it's going to be just more like string lights. Essentially. Zach, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we will have stage lighting at the stage, but that is only for a few hours a night. It's quite limited, predominantly by our budget, and we can't really have too much of a lighting system. And then outside of that, yeah, very basic ambient lighting, because we don't, a lot of our community actually would prefer it to be dark wilderness, and so we're not trying to create anything that's very bright or unattractive to the people who are.
And I would share that we are planning and what you see on the map where it's some like warm light bistro lights to light a path. This stuff is done with the principles for responsible outdoor lighting from dark sky in mind. Those are, all light should have a clear purpose. It should be directed only to where it's needed. No higher than necessary, only when it's full, and use warmer colors when possible. So, I know we have specific things with the county as far as permanent installations and things like that. We're certainly looking to shield everything down and everything like that. But the dark sky principles are being, are in mind as the just kind of the safety lighting paths and things like that are devised.
Any other questions, comments?
The mow height to the grass. Is that
It should be 3 inches or less. Generally.
general? Any comments from the fire district?
Not really. I can.
Can you come to the mic, right?
I live in my bigger house. I'm more agree with the fire chief of Huerfano County. And as I was saying, to my knowledge, even when Sonic Bloom was there, I don't remember there ever being a fire. Most people that we saw there, I can't speak for this group, but they didn't want to burn themselves, so they surely weren't going to burn their neighbor. And I don't know for sure what the fire plan could look like, if there was going to be somebody there 24, not at all. But either way, I mean, if called on, we could provide the fire protection for the situation. And there is a lot of areas there, as they did mention, that would be, if the fire got started, it would be hard to get to. But that's a challenge that we face every day anyway. So, for lightning or any natural problems. So, I really don't see any problems on our end. As long as the fire pits were not scattered, as long as there's only one major fire pit, that'd be a good thing.
Thank you, Ray.
Any other comments or questions?
That's it. Well, for me.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at
I'm sorry.
11:58.
Somebody raised their hand. I didn't know if they had another. Did you have another comment?
Yeah, I'm done. Just like him, I'd like to rebut a few things that.
No. We do that, we have to do the whole thing over again.
So I'm closing the public hearing at 11:08 a.m. Okay, now Commissioners, this is your opportunity to discuss, add more conditions, whatever you choose.
I share some of the same concerns that the neighbors have, but from what I've seen, it looks like you guys will be addressing a lot of those concerns. For the record, denial cannot be based off of personal preference. It has to be based off of conditions outlined in our land use code. With that, I don't see any violations of the land use code. I think this event looks like it's going to be well organized. So I don't know what you guys have any thoughts on.
Just one thing, well, maybe a few things, but I'll go for my notes again. But the grass in the parking area, lower than 3 inches, is that acceptable?
Would you like to add that as a condition?
Yes, that's a condition.
And
And with the trespassing too, that sounds like it's been, foot patrols and stuff like that will help out with that, because that is an area back by the, river. It's rougher country. So yeah, foot patrols, ATVs, sounds like that would be sufficient. And we'll keep an eye on it and see what the fire conditions will be up to that time.
And lastly, I'd say that I appreciate everybody's comments, and I do have to say that I've had experience with the van life type situation, and it's a extremely different demographic than Sonic Bloom, and everything I've ever seen has been quite a bit lesser in terms of activity, and it usually is, there's always the outlier, but there usually is more of a just sedentary, just enjoying the outdoors and not really doing that much. So I think it's definitely a different demographic of people that do the van life type deal. I think it'd definitely be less possibilities for trespass and different things of that nature.
so, Jim, I want to make sure I got everything you said. You said the grass in the parking area lower than 3 inches, the
Yes.
patrols in the security plan. What was that last one?
Fire conditions.
Monitoring the drought conditions at the time.
Okay.
Which will be June of next year.
Yes. So, to expand on that, I have a couple of suggestions for the board. First, that the applicant submit a plan for sales tax compliance. That must comply with state sales tax rules and ensure that local sales tax is collected. That'll give some wiggle room for them to find the right system for them. I think as a condition, we should add, well, let me ask this question first. What's your take on the communal fire pit?
Depends on the conditions. If it's a wet year, I have no problem with it. If it's dry, obviously that's some concern.
There's definitely a difference between Florida moisture and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so then I would say that except for the communal fire pit, which I think the condition you have is written in there probably works. All other fires should be propane. Propane is subject to the, we also have off switch, and there's a few other things in our fire ordinance. So they must be propane and be acceptable for under a stage 2 fire ban.
The condition 1, the communal fire pit depending upon written mutual approval between the county and the fire protection district unless waived by the fire protection district. Applicant will have to have a fire truck and a crew during the activity unless fire protection district approves of an alternate plan.
Yes. And then for all other fires,
All the fires,
must be propane, and the equipment must be rated. There's we have an exact definition in the fire ordinance that minimize the risk of some of the concerns that were raised about propane tanks. I think that requiring a fire extinguisher as a condition is a good thing. I think I saw that in the fire plan, but I need to go back and double check.
Recently myself.
I think it's alluded to, but not required. That's all.
All right, so any propane, so all other fires, must be within stoves, fire pits, or appliances that are fueled by liquid propane or natural gas and clear at least 3 feet of all flammable materials with flame lengths not exceeding 2 feet. The flame must be completely and immediately extinguished by activation of the switch, valve, and or tip over safety switch.
Do you want all of that a motion?
So there's 2 ways to do this. One, you can give us direction to clean up these and pass them before you next week, or yeah, just to make sure we have everything as we want it. The damage to the fence line does bother me. So I'll ask this question. Do you have a preference for an amount of a bond? Because I feel like that's where it fall under, is the bonding. The bond is for compliance with county regulations. But I don't think it inappropriate to extend that bond to cover damage to neighbor's property. I think we have to be careful how we word that, and I'm sure that Jess will have thoughts on that. But if you're going to allow us some time to clear up these conditions, then we can take that time to work that out.
Yeah. Well, I hear the concern for the conditions. Not being a lawyer myself, but correct me if I'm wrong, we are a fence out state. How does that work?
So we are a fence out state. And I would have to ask Mr. Steele about what the nature of the fence, if it's on the fence line, and therefore it's mutually, they're both responsible for it or not.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, we have a situation where the damage at the very least seems to be from activities at previous events. We can't go backwards until we need to fix it from that, but we can say for going forward that, you know, if there's new damage, it has to be taken care of. Absolutely. A condition assessment.
Yeah, that's good.
Condition assessment of the fence condition. Fires are just. So that's clear for his new motion.
And then during our inspection, we need to inspect that secondary egress if they are going to be relying on that.
Just that it's been on. Jess had his hand.
Jess?
Oh, I was just speaking towards the bond. You know, I think that would be a civil matter between the different property owners. If there's, because certainly Hummingbird Ranch would dispute that there's anything wrong with the fence that was caused by an event on the property. We would have to agree to disagree with Ron on that. He certainly has asked for money, but we don't believe that there's any damage that was caused as a result of an event. So we see that different ways, but I think there's a civil justice system that is to address those kind of things. So.
Since you helped us out with that one, does your insurance for this event or for the general insurance that Burt Ranch carries, does that include damage to neighbors' property by attendees?
It would. It's commercial liability insurance has covers those kind of perils. I guess that would ultimately be a question for a jury. But theoretically, if the applicant was negligent and failed to supervise a fence line or something like that, didn't meet its duty of care, and there was damage to any third party as a result, the applicant's insurance would answer for that loss, for that damage. Yes.
All right. One last thing while I have you before I forget about it. The hip camp posting, is that what's going on with that? Is that what's
I believe
be a
without
violation of
I believe you have we looked at your regulations when hip camp. I think it's something where as long as it's less than 7 days, you can have someone camp on your land. So it's been years since I looked at that, but I don't remember. I have to go back and look. So
yeah, we should have a discussion about that. That it applies for people that are camping on their own property or having a friend camp on their property. But if you're charging for that, that is a different matter. I think that does fall under state law, and as well as our regulations as far as regulating campgrounds.
okay.
We can follow up about that.
Okay, yeah, we can look at it. Certainly if that's something that's not permitted, then it wouldn't, that would be stricken. I don't know that it's been much of a thing, so, but.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a dollar amount on bond, or do you want us to come up with something?
I'd like to come up with an actual number.
Yeah, let's look at
I want it
that.
to be arbitrary.
And I don't remember what they were in previous years. I feel like.
Well, let's go back and look.
Yeah,
But I think one of these is, 500,000.
That's their insurance.
Oh, sorry.
The bond, I think somewhere between 10 and 20. But I want to go back and check what we did for previous events.
yeah, I'd rather check.
We're speaking to the mic. So yeah, I think it was between 10 and 20 previous years, but I want to double check that. For the insurance, we can also double check the insurance as well to make sure that we have an amount commensurate to the size of the event.
So we could, in a motion, approve this with the condition to give staff direction to clean all of it up to approve next week.
So I wouldn't table it. Table it would mean you could not. So table it would, you would extend the hearing, is that what you would do? Continue the hearing. I would, if your inclination is to approve it subject to conditions that will be reviewed at the next meeting. Or you can say that you instruct staff to revise the recommended conditions for review next week. So along those lines.
With that, I will make a motion to approve land use permit 25-021. Give staff the directions to finalize and approve the conditions next week.
Is there a second?
Second.
Can you say tentatively approve?
Yeah, there you go.
Tentatively approved next week or the week after. How fast?
Okay, first and second. Conditions. Any other discussions? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodall,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you,
That
Chairman.
is enough for me for today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I apologize. The signal broke out, did it? I couldn't hear the commissioners' votes. Were they? Was it?
Yeah, you have tentative approval and we'll revise the conditions for their review before final approval.
Thank you.
Okay, on to action items.
All right, Commissioners, first review of resolution number 25-35, resolution appointing Lisa Wagner to the Spanish Peaks Library District Board of Trustees for a term expired on July 1st, 2030.
In the wrong spot. Yes, I'm in the wrong spot. Let me get there.
On page 78.
I'm almost there. Oops, why did it come up that? Oop. I passed. Now I'm back. I make a motion to approve Lisa Wagner's application to be an alternate trustee for the Spanish Peaks Library District. Her term will be August 1st, 2025 to August 1st, 2030.
Second motion.
First and second, any other discussion?
So
Yep.
we normally, so we will amend that resolution to say August 1st, 2030.
Oh, okay, not assume. Okay. Yes. First and second, and the amendment to the date change. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Woodall,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes.
motion passes. Next I have for you, your September vendor run in the amount of $555,567.96.
Make a motion to approve the September 2025 vendor run in the amount of $555,567.96.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion or questions? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodall,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes.
motion passes. And that's your action items for the day.
On correspondence.
All right, first up I have your August 2025 sheriff's list of revenues. Then I have for you, revenue and expense report through August 2025. Your July 2025 treasurer's report. Your August 2025 treasurer's report. Postcards related to the Core City facility, and your road and bridge reports for July and August.
Okay. And on to public comment. Each person have 3 minutes to present public comment. Please address the board through the chair. And this opportunity to express any views. The board does not generally engage back and forth, but to respond to things, but to state your name, and you have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Anybody on the list?
So somebody walked off of the list, but
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I saw Ryan sign up.
Yeah.
I did sign up. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My question was actually about the
State your name.
bridge. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan Geese, resident, County Road 358. Huerfano County. The road and bridge reports, coincidentally coming out this week. I wanted to ask if there's any way that they track the number of times that they work a road with the blades or not. It just simply stated that there was 285 miles of road. I wanted to commend the road and bridge crew. The guys doing the blading on County Road 358 and 340 have been out there many times this summer. It has been destroyed by the rains, and they've done a fantastic job of keeping up to that. Out there early mornings right after the rains, and it's been repeatedly done. So I just wanted to commend those guys for taking care of that road. Second, last year I asked before the budget is appropriated for the road and bridge, if they could add whatever it is. There's two forms of roads out there. There's some that just disintegrate, and some that, you know, in recent years have been very well. They seem to be just a sturdier type of road base, whether that's with the mag chloride or not. That road 340, you can see those sections. There's a lot of dirt and dust in some areas and almost none through others. I would like to ask that in addition to the budget, more money be appropriated for County Road 340 between Highway 160 and the Stairway to Nowhere. It seems the section that was earlier this year seems to hold up really well. It saves a lot of time and money over going back over that road time and time again every time it rains. That whatever that could be appropriated towards that Stairway to Nowhere is a really nasty washboard. So that would be my ask for the upcoming budget. Maybe another quarter mile of that road be done with whatever the new technique is. So it works really great. Second, after today's comments, I think it might be appropriate for the county to possibly ban all propane and lithium batteries due to their inherent danger of wildfire. I'd like you to also consider maybe planes and trains for their excessive noise and propensity to start fires when they crash. Seems to be an overwhelming concern among our county residents that barbecues and propane tanks have explosive capabilities. So if you could protect the rest of the residents by banning those items, be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay.
I appreciate the satire. It's not-
Sure. I'm sorry that everybody else did.
Anyone online? Comment online? Any hands raised? Nope. Okay. And public comment? On staff reports. County Administrator, you're up.
Nothing for me this week, Commissioners. I'll give you an extended report next week.
Okay. And nothing from the County Attorney?
Nope.
Do we have a need for executive session? Call for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
First and second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Wendell?
Yes.
Chairman Wonder?
Yes. We're adjourned at 3:03.